Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. Alright. Today is the 2nd of August already. Wow. It's a Friday and it's another hot day. 81 already. No, 83. 96 is the high. Tomorrow it starts dipping slightly. Saturday and Sunday the highs in 94, then 95, 96. No end in sight. It's just, according to the weather forecast. All right. What we're going to do today is, I was wrong how I was interpreting the death of the former president of Iran in Bible prophecy, Jeremiah 49, and I went back in, and the Lord showed me, and I did a study in the Hebrew, and it means something rather different, and it's pretty good, and we're going to go through that, because right now you see Iran and Lebanon, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen. Hamas can't do anything anymore. Think year of recompenses. Are going to jointly attack Israel, and they appear to be wanting to open up a front in Syria, and the militias, the Iranian-backed militias, are moving closer to the border. IRGC is there. There's a small amount of Russian military police on the border with the Golan. And this is where we're headed. Now, the first thing I want to tell you, just to get you interested before we start, Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia said they would defend Israel and take down anything flying in their airspace, like drones and missiles from Iran or Iraq or whatever, or Yemen. And the Iranians told them that they would be considered enemies along with Israel. In other words, attack them if they did it, and they said if they opened their airspace to Israel, which would mean they let Israel jets pass over them to attack Iran, that they would also consider them enemy combatants with Israel. This is a big thing. Okay. We'll also go through what Biden's position is, which is surprising, unless he's completely lying, which I don't think he is. And we'll get into it, all right? So it's not going to end the way the world thinks it's going to end, okay? The churchianity preachers, they're, Israel's going to, get blasted. That's because they generally misinterpret Ezekiel 38 and 39 for these days, even though it says that when that happens, Israel will be living in peace and safety without bars and walls, and they come to take a great spoil, gold, silver, cattle. Guys, 28% of Israel lives at the poverty level. 25% of the people that send their kids to school can't afford to give them lunch money. The kids have to wait till they come home to eat. Okay? Prices of things in Israel are insane. Okay? And the wages are not high. They're not that bad either. All right? And there's a lot of poor people in Israel. Okay? The Satan bots are running around, they're the ones owning the businesses and, in the government, and they do okay. But there's not that many of them. Okay? You got over 9 million people here, and there's, 300 millionaires. And in Tel Aviv, that's where most of them would live. And you got don't know, 5 or 10 or 12 billionaires in Israel. Yeah, what about the other, over 9 million people, or 6.6 million Jews? How are they doing? It's a joke. All right. So what I'm going to do to start with is, and we're also going to go through some current events. I'm going to go to the live stream and make sure we got sound and picture and the chat's operating and all of that. All right. We got sound and picture. I'm going to put a few fast posts up in the chat. If you don't want to wait, you want to go away and miss what I have to say, that's your choice. I'm just going to put my email address up there and then we'll go. Almost done, a few seconds, and I'll be up there. Okay, the amount of views I've been getting the last 2 days or so has dropped a lot. I don't know if it's the titles or something's going on. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I could make titles on YouTube and get 5, 10,000 or even more views if I want to, But it would have to deviate from the Bible and all that other stuff, So, being a Bible-believing site, I'm going to do some praise, and if you join in or don't, it's up to you. I have no control. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 Okay. So we'll start off. Oh, wait a second. There was some prayer requests, and I'm not sure if they got done the other day. For some reason, I might have skipped it, but let's just cover them. I may have done them, so we'll do them again. But I don't think I did. Toss request for Mike. Toss request. Next, pray for RG, Romeo Golf. RG, Romeo Golf. RG. Pray that RG's relationship with the daughter is restored. Pray that the relationship between RG and the daughter is restored. Prayer for RS, Romeo Sierra. RS, Romeo Sierra. Healing for the legs, a diabetes problem. So general healing from diabetes and healing in the legs for RS, Romeo Sierra. Now we have a heavy duty toss request for MS, Mike Sierra. MS, Mike Sierra. Endless salad and whole enchilada. MS, Mike Sierra, endless salad, whole enchilada. My spiritual warrior know what that means. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll start with going through the error I made interpreting Jeremiah 49 verse 35 the other day. And I'm going to show you from the Hebrew what the real interpretation is, okay? I jumped the gun on that one. I got excited. I saw something. I said, ooh, ooh, ooh. No, I had it wrong. So I'm sorry. Forgive me. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, and I'll get it right for you right now. Thus, and then we're going to do the whole chapter, but I want to start with this. Thus saith Jehovah of armies. They use the word hosts. It's kind of out of context. It's armies. Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. All right. Now, I thought this was the assassination of the president when his helicopter went down a few months ago. It wasn't. That's not it. He's not the bow of Elam. He's just a political figurehead. And we're going to go through the words, okay? We'll start off, behold. Now, that doesn't really make sense in today's English. It's Hine. There's a messianic song that goes, Hine Yeshua HaMelech Yisrael. And they, it probably should mean the appearing, but the ones that wrote it probably meant the return to earth. But anyway. Hine means like, here it comes, look, it's coming. Okay? Behold, like, look, it's coming, okay? That's easy to understand. Well, let's take a look at behold in the Webster's 1828 and see what it means, okay? Just to convince everybody. It means to fix the eyes upon, to see with attention, to observe with care. Okay? That's what it means. So the Lord is showing his children, the elect, the remnant, the real believers, what he's going to do. Behold, observe with care. And then it says, I will break. It doesn't say, I will break. It's one word. Well, no, actually, I think it's two words. Let's go into this. I'm sorry. The word for break is shabar, and it's really translated reasonably well. What does Strong say? Break, broken, crush, destroy. Got it? Okay. And then the next word with it is et. This makes it change slightly. It changes it more to I. So yeah, you could say in English, Hebrew doesn't go into English too good. You could say I break or I destroy. And then the word comes the bow, which is keshet. And there's not a lot of mystery into this word here. It's like bending a bow that shoots an arrow. Okay, now in the old days they didn't have missiles or drones, but the concept is the same. The bow is the missile launcher and the arrow is the missile. Okay, this is for today. I'll go through this with you in a little while, a minute or two or so. I will break the bow. That's what enables them to shoot with, of Elam. Now, you got to understand, Elam is composed of, in the old days, which is how God is describing it. He doesn't use the names that the nations put on themselves, okay? Iran, as far as I know, is not in the Bible. It's Persia, Elam, stuff like that, okay? It's not in there. So Elam consists of Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Does that sound like it rings a bell? Iran's deploying all of them in the attack on Israel to come. The attack they think they're going to deliver. The bow of Elam. Now, this is where I got off. The word chief. Reshet. This is really mistranslated. It means the first or the best. Hang on. Strong's does it like this. Order or rank as the first. Okay? First fruit is related to this word. Okay? The best and the first, the rank. Yeah, okay, it's the rank. It's their first line of attack. You got it now? And it says of their might, and the word for might is 1369 Strong's, Gebrah, or Gebarah, and it's reasonably well translated strength or might. So what is the strength or might of Iran? Is it their air force? No, they got a junk air force. It's a joke. Their navy? No, they got a junk navy. What is it? It's their missiles and drones. Mostly missiles, I guess. That's what it is. Okay? That's the first in rank of their strength is their missiles. So what's he saying? Thus saith Jehovah of armies, Hine, observe carefully, I break the bow of Elam, that's those three countries, Iran, Syria, and Iraq, the first in rank of their strength, the most important of their rank. Now you see what's going to happen. Next verse, 36, Jeremiah 49:36. And upon Elam will I bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them towards these winds. And there shall be no nation, no heathen nation, whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. Things are so bad, they're going to run away from their countries all over the world. This hasn't happened. I will cause Elam to be dismayed. Okay, dismayed. Let's look that up. Strong's number 2865. Let's see how Strong's throws it into English. Prostrate, break down by violence, confusion, fear. Okay, you got the idea? I will cause Elam, that's the three of them, Iraq, Syria, and Iran, to be dismayed, broken down, fearful, before their enemies. The word for enemies is oyev. It doesn't usually mean nations. hating adversaries is a good way of putting it, or enemies is a good way. It's a decent translation, to say the least, enemies. And before, let's check the word. You got to be careful with these English translators. See, before is not the right word here. It's punim, or punim. Wait a minute. Let's see. Punim. It's face. So I will cause. Let's check those words. The I is there. Wait a second. It doesn't say I will cause. It says et. They're so bad in these translations. You could say I guess, when you're going into English. I even to be dismayed before enemies. It's not before, face of their enemies. Okay? And face them that seek their life, and I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith Jehovah, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. See, they've been provoking Israel like crazy since 1980. Okay? Arming our enemies, threatening us. It's a joke, what they've done. And the year of recompenses is closing, ending with the day of vengeance, which is the beginning of year of redemption. And this sounds to me like the day of vengeance on the heads of them, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. And I will set my throne in Elam. That doesn't mean he's going to reign from Elam. When he sets his throne, that's like where he does the judgment, like King Solomon has Solomon's portico where he had a throne there and he did the judgment there. And I will set my throne in Elam and will destroy from thence. Let's check the words, because you never know with these English translations. Perish or vanish from thence, from there. Destroy from there the king and the prince, saith Jehovah. So, the rulers and the ministers, the members of the parliament or the Congress, that kind of thing. But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith Jehovah. Well, they come back towards the close of the second 70. It's probably decades away, where they will attack Israel again in Ezekiel 38-39. We read of Persia there. So that would include Iran, I would expect. Okay. So they're sitting there beating the war drums. What we're going to do to Israel. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully now. I really want you to listen to me. About nukes. The media, the church people, everybody, there's nukes. They act like they're real. Nuclear warhead tipped missiles, stuff like that, right? All right, let me ask you a question. All these people that talk about nukes talk about Israel having nukes. Now, would Iran attempt to do what it's planning to do and announce against Israel if nukes were real and Israel had them? Of course not. If they had these nukes like they say they had, they probably would have used them, at least 100 times since World War II is over. Okay? Hiroshima and Nagasaki got destroyed the same way as Tokyo. The damage was the same. Tokyo got burned. Hiroshima and Nagasaki got burned. They made houses back then out of wood and treated paper. The cherry blossoms grew in the blast zone the next season. They weren't dead for 20 years. There was a bank building by the blast zone that got all the windows blown out. And, you know, they replaced the windows, cleaned it up, and went back to business a few weeks after. Nobody was glowing in the dark from radiation. It didn't happen. They used incendiary bombs like they did in Germany, in Hamburg, Dresden, Berlin. They took fuel and exploded it above the earth, created a lot of fire in places like Dresden and Hamburg. It was so bad. The people, which were civilians, by the way, were gasping for air. Now that's genocide. But America criticizes Israel. Okay? Did America not do genocide in Vietnam? Of course it did. And they play into the genocide with the Muslims, and the Muslim terrorists, and everybody's screaming, you know, genocide, genocide. I heard this pro-Hezbollah commentator. He's pro-Iran, you know, pro all of the terrorists, and he was referring to Israel's counterattack in Lebanon as genocide because some children got killed or something. What did Hezbollah do but put a missile in a soccer field and kill 12 children and wound a bunch of others? Yeah, they don't mention that. Wants to say Israel, I don't even know if any children got killed or something. Wants to say Israel's doing the genocide. Why doesn't he say Hezbollah did genocide and then Israel did genocide? They both have to stop. I'm going to say that. Most of the world today believes that Israel is going to come to an end in a few days or severely get busted up. Iran, I heard, was threatening, or I picked this up someplace, 1,500 missiles a day plus 900 drones. And they were going to go for 3 days. The 3 warships in the Persian Gulf, I'm sorry, there's 4, is the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt and 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers carry a lot of missiles. I think they hold 64 total. They don't have 64 launches, they have 16. But they could reload, I guess, 4 times. Well, the first one and then 3 more reloads. They're generally going to carry a mix of missiles. They're going to carry anti-ship missiles, possibly anti-submarine missiles, but I don't think so. And then they'll have attack missiles, which would probably mostly be intelligent cruise missiles. But I don't know. They can put different missiles in there. But they also carry, and for this trip, they're going to carry heavy duty missiles that could be used to take down other missiles and drones and aircraft. So they're probably going to stock most of their 64 missiles. Some of these may have missiles up in the 80s even. So they could have higher. Most of the, I think they do. I think they get up in the 80s or something like that. Most of the missiles are going to be anti-ship, anti-drone. I'm sorry, anti-aircraft, anti-missile, anti-drone. So if you give everything the benefit of the doubt, they might have between 200 and 250 missiles. And then they're dry. The aircraft carrier has a small amount of missiles that would just be used to take down, boats or incoming projectiles. Like missiles, drones. They don't have that capability. Okay. So you're not going to see much happen from the aircraft carrier. So these 3 ships are there to take down drones and missiles. If Iran's going to go for a 1,500 missile launch and 900 drones, they're going to run dry in hours. Do the Americans know this? Sure they know it. Remember I told you back, this whole October 7th thing in its inception was designed to hurt and cripple Israel, and also to find a good way to get rid of Iran. Iran's not listening to Biden, Obama, or anybody. They're just not listening. So in the eyes of America, they gotta go. So Iran would just do a swarm attack. Some of the countries like Jordan may take down some missiles. Israel would take down some missiles, but they would get missiles in eventually. Then if Yemen is attacking with whatever missiles they could conjure up, if there are any anymore, the Houthis or the Houthis would be launching up in Eilat, southern Israel. And Hezbollah would be launching from into northern Israel by the Lebanese border. And the plan would be to keep the missiles coming for a few days to cause Israel to run out of Iron Domes, David slings, and Arrow defensive missiles that take down missiles. Once they get Israel postured like that, then they could attack Israel more aggressively, causing damage, and they would focus on Air Force bases to take out Israel's jets, opening the door for an invasion. I'm oversimplifying it. Israel's well aware of this. So is America. The Saudis will help take down some Yemen-fired missiles. UAE and Egypt, I don't know what they're going to do. Egypt put up a NOTAM, no fly over Egypt already. I don't know what the duration of that is. It could be until further notice. And they came out with a very harsh warning that if anything flies over Egypt's airspace, they're just taking it down. They're not going to talk about it. It's just coming down. The only people I think that Egypt would be afraid of getting a missile from is Yemen. The Houthis in Yemen may be trying to get Saudi Arabia to let them march through Saudi Arabia and come up and attack Israel by Gaza. But Saudis are not idiots. They're not letting a couple 100,000 of these maniacs in their country. And based what I see in Jeremiah 49, which we'll read shortly, Dedan, which is Saudi Arabia, gets probably from the Houthis and possibly Iran. We'll read that soon. Now, a lot of these things that happened that are in there have not happened in the past. Okay? Yemen's going to get it, Saudi's going to get it, Jordan's going to get it. Now, there could be a conspiracy going on here where Egypt, Jordan, UAE, and Saudi Arabia just say that they're going to defend Israel and they may stab Israel in the back. And actually attack Israel. I'm not putting that with a high probability at all, low probability. But possible, but I don't think so. Maybe. It doesn't matter what the nations think or say or attempt, it's not going to work. It's going to be a siege, a surrounding against Israel with attacks. Instead of using catapults and arrows, they're using missiles, rockets, and drones. That's the difference, not much. Everybody's chasing their tails and thinking this is what's going to happen. It's not, they don't know what's going to happen because they rely on the churches to teach them, and they haven't figured out that the churches go against the Bible all the time. I don't know the day or the hour, but we're supposed to know the seasons, right? I constantly say we don't know the day or the hour. Someone puts in prayer request for someone, but what are we supposed to pray for? Does it make any sense to say we pray for this person? Give us a directed prayer. I mean, what do we pray for? Okay. Now we got to look at the United States' latest message. And this is a release from the White House. So it's not some bogus, um, this is dated August 1. It's a summary of a telephone call between Biden and Kamala Harris was there on the call with Netanyahu. President Biden spoke today with Netanyahu. The president reaffirmed his commitment to Israel's security against all threats from Iran, including its proxy terrorist groups, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. The president discussed efforts to support Israel's defense against threats, including against ballistic missiles and drones, to include new defensive U.S. military deployments. Together with this commitment to Israel's defense, the president stressed the importance of ongoing efforts to de-escalate broader tensions in the meeting. Vice President Harris also joined the call. See, Biden is not going to help us fight. He's just going to help us defend. Okay, he says. Does that make you think that Biden is going to destroy the missiles and drones in Iran, break the bow of Iran, and Iraq and Syria? No. They took a poll in Israel, and yesterday, I think, 61% of the respondents said they would prefer a preemptive attack on Iran. See, Netanyahu is stupid, and he takes the ways of the Muslim terrorist states on. You attack us, we attack you back. You attack us, we attack you back. Okay? He started deviating from that with Hezbollah recently. So they're just doing strikes irrespective if Hezbollah strikes back or not. Or they don't need to have Hezbollah launch a strike and then they strike. They're hitting strategic tactical targets. So the Israelis are obviously thinking, instead of sitting here and waiting for Iran to attack, which is more on Netanyahu's modus operandi, which is sort of like a secret agenda clue, will attack Iran preemptively. In other words, start flying jets over to Iran and taken out all kinds of military installations, mostly pertaining to drones and missile launching. Israel may do that. Israel called its key ministers, like Minister of Education, Transportation, things like that, to go to secure locations underground. To be a minister, you got to be a member of the Knesset normally, and the other members of the Knesset that were not important enough to be called into the bunkers were given satellite phones. This would assure no continuity of government in the event of a big attack and make Netanyahu dictator. What good are the satellite phones going to do? Be good, Chief. So, if Israel does a preemptive strike, it would take out the Iranian missiles, but it doesn't answer how the enemies of Iran will attack her. It'll just blow over. Okay? Now, Israel may attack along with other countries. I don't think there's other countries right now provoked enough to do anything. They honestly are all Satan bots, and they don't care what happens to Israel. They prefer Israel to not exist, but they're not going to go step out against Israel. They know what Jehovah did to all the Arab states that did it since 1948. They always lost. So they're not about to attack Israel themselves for that reason. They use the Arab Muslim terrorist crazy states to do that. Okay? Will America take down missiles and drones coming out of Iran and Iraq with their Navy ships in the Persian Gulf? Yes. Is there a chance that will infuriate Iran and Iran will attack the ships? Yes. Why? Because the Houthis have attacked American warships and hit them with ballistic missiles, and a response from America is either nothing or very weak. So the way it works in the Middle East is Iran will deduce that the same will happen if they hit the American ships. There would be a very mild reaction from America. But we're in the latter days. We're in end times. We're coming to Jacob's trouble, which is not Gog and Magog. Now, when you tell people it's not Gog and Magog, some of them are shocked when you explain it to them, like I did earlier. And some of them will say, oh yeah, the man of sin hasn't come with his, peace that gets broken in 3.5 years and stuff. They have no concept of sequencing and timing and prophecy. None. But they think they know it all because they listen to Pastor Bob, or even worse, Pastor Mary. So, they don't know what they're doing. The key is, how do the enemies go after Iran? Well, America and UK are in the region, but I'm not sure about any UK warships. By the way, those 3 landing ships, USS Wasp, USS New York, and USS something Hill, on the 27th of July were in Cyprus. When you take a commercial ferry boat to Cyprus, which goes slower than a Navy boat, but not by much, it may go to same speed. It's an overnight trip. So, they might still be in Cyprus. I suspect they are. Hezbollah believes they could hit Cyprus with missiles. They may try it. That'll give them a real reaction. I'm going to take a 1-minute break or so, 2 minutes, whatever. I'll be right back. Some of you are probably wondering, as I see it right now, I don't see Russia and China with any significant involvement in this, okay? In the Middle East. I don't see it. And the time is extremely short. We're not hearing about any fleets moving over here or aircraft in the hundreds. I mean, nothing. I don't think either one of them want to get involved here. It's too long distance for them, and they have their hands full in their home front. Both of them are not Muslims, and I don't think they're going to do anything. Not that I could see. Now, it could change. Turkey blocked access to Instagram this morning. Who knows why? See, there's an attack on Elam, which is Iraq, Syria, and Iran by her enemies, not just Israel. All right, I want to check something. I don't remember the answer exactly. It involves the EU. Give me a second. Okay, see, Cyprus is in the EU. So if they attack the American ships in Cyprus, they're attacking Cyprus, which is an attack on the EU. And the EU already threatened Hezbollah that they'll bring the whole wrath of the EU down on their heads if they attack a member of the EU. Okay, hang on a second. So Cyprus is not in NATO, but it's in the EU, which is enough. See, the EU is sort of cowardly, but they'll bring the wrath down on, taking the wrath down on Russia is one thing. Taking the wrath down on Hezbollah or even Iran is another thing. You see, again, Iran has no navy to speak of nor air force. Okay? And they're not capable of raining missiles down all over Europe or anything like that. Forget it. They're not going to reach and not get all of Europe. It's a joke. They can't do it. See, as you'll read in a few minutes in Jeremiah 49, the cup of the wrath goes to these crazy countries, okay, that are attacking us. Yesterday we did a very good lineup of the Psalm 83 countries, comparing it to what's happening right now. Okay? Okay. My guess here, and it's a guess, is that Hezbollah will find a reason to take shots at those uh, 3 U.S. Navy ships, and Iran will probably try to take shots at the American Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier group in the Persian Gulf. Drones, missiles, suicide boat drones, go fast boats, the whole gamut. Missiles launched off their boats. They take maritime, civilian vessel boats and put missile launchers all on the decks of them so they could launch missiles in mass amounts. And I expect they'll damage the American vessels, and that'll do it. The Democrats are looking for something to propel Kamala Harris up in the polls to defeat Trump. And a good war victory would do that. Really do it. What Biden and most of the world is overlooking are the sleeper agents in America will probably be launched. Okay. When will Iran launch at us? I don't know. Probably sooner than later. Now, what if America put 4 aircraft carrier groups in the Persian Gulf? Or 3? And they had one in the Mediterranean and one in the Red Sea and all that. What would happen? Iran and the satellites would say, well, we don't know what America will do. We know they'll minimally take down on missiles and drones, so they'll be ineffective. So they can't keep the aircraft carriers here for long. Let's just wait them out. And they know that these, maybe the boats would stay a month or 6 weeks and they'd be gone. Then they do it again. Only they launch. So that's all that would happen. So America was trying a different tactic, almost as if they wanted to goat or bait Iran into a fight with them. See what I'm saying? To just do deterrence, you wouldn't send one aircraft carrier with 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. You would send 6 or 8 with the aircraft carrier, and you'd have more than one aircraft carrier running around. You'd have at least, 2 in the Persian Gulf or 1 in the Indian Ocean right outside, and you would put 1 in the Mediterranean, and you'd put 1 in the Red Sea, and maybe put 2 in there, and then, these guys wouldn't be running around with 3 destroyers. They'd be running around with 3 destroyers and 3 missile cruisers per aircraft carrier, and submarines would be in the area. There's a new story coming out of Iran now. I think it's Iran trying to make the people think Israel did not just freely violate their airspace and go into Tehran and launch a missile and kill that head of Hamas. They're saying that a bomb months ago was placed inside the house that this guy was going to live in, or his house, and they, probably meant they put it in the floorboards, the ceiling, or the walls, or the furniture, I don't know. And then when they knew he was in that room, in that part of the house, they blew it up. And coincidentally, they just happened to blow it up right after this character came back from the funeral. Oh no, from the inauguration of the new president. Now that's a little too far-fetched for me. So I think it was still a missile strike. I don't think it came that way. It's too crazy. The Mossad is doing a very effective job finding out where these guys are and attacking them and getting them attacked. They're not going to get credit publicly or anything. But behind the scenes, Netanyahu and other brass generals may have invited them to a dinner someplace to celebrate, They wouldn't tell us. Why should they? It's not our business, so they want to do it, let them do it. All during this conflict from October 7th, the assassinations do no good but provoke more hostilities. That's the reality of it. Why does Netanyahu want to keep doing it? Well, either he's dumb as a bag of hammers and hasn't realized it yet, which is reasonably impossible, or that's his goal. They want to weaken the Middle East, they want to weaken Israel, destabilize the Middle East, kill the Iranian influence, because Iran's got mutual defense treaties with China and Russia, and that's dangerous to America. If they dominate all the oil-producing countries like Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan, they control the oil. They raise the prices, cut the production back, and they destroy the economies of Europe and parts of Asia and North and Central and South America. How are Americans going to pay $10, $12 a gallon for gas? We pay over $8 for diesel, dollars per gallon. Our economy is much harder to live in than yours in America, believe me. Believe me. My wife went to the supermarket the other day and she bought several steaks, and not a whole lot of groceries really. And the bill was 1,600 shekels, which I'll put into dollars for you. Approximately $426. Now, go back roughly 10 years ago, what was it here? We used to spend $600 shekels And we would get more than a week out of that. We'd get it like 3 times. So we'd spend about 1,800 shekels a month. And conversion was about the same back then. We spent about $480 a month. That was toilet paper, paper towels, laundry soap, dishwasher soap, meat, vegetables, fruit. We don't buy fruit anymore. We get it at a charity handout. Okay? And vegetables too. We buy very little of that. And, you know, that would be coffee, milk, cream, cereal, all of that stuff. You know, batteries, everything. Okay? Would run us about that much. And our rent was 40% less. So let me work that out. Yeah, 40%, a little better than 42% less. The rent was almost half. See what I'm saying? Gas is over $8 a gallon for diesel. If you buy a new car, the tax is 100 to 150%. So if we buy what you pay $30,000 for in America, we pay $60,000 here. But the wages are lower here. This is Netanyahu holding the nose of the people to the grindstone. That's in scripture. He doesn't want to see Jews move to Israel. Okay? They give you health care here that's almost, it's very inexpensive. There's no deductible when you go to the hospital. And if you go to a family practice doctor, there's no deductible. And most of the medicines is a 15% deductible. Sounds good, doesn't it? Not really. The medicines they give you are old, out-of-date medicines that countries like America don't use anymore. The doctors are sloppy, cold, impersonal, nasty. The nurses in the hospital are not nice. They mass produce surgeries. They just run the patients through like an assembly line. Basically, the doctors are crap. The whole healthcare system is not good. Now, that being said, if you had, Wile E. Coyote drop the grand piano on your roof, off the roof on your head, yeah, they would probably go to great pains to try to save you, but a lot of them are just no good. Okay? And they don't care. They're callous. They know the healthcare system stinks. Me and my wife won't go there. If it was an extreme emergency, let's say, cut my arm and I had to get stitches to stop it bleeding or something like that, I'd probably go there. But God willing, that won't happen. I don't trust them at all. They're horrible. And they send you for so many tests. They drive you crazy with tests. And then they start with preventive vaccines. They nag you and argue with you that you should get it. They're terrible. There's a lot of people that just avoid them. The thing you got to do is you got to tell them, thank you for being concerned about my health, but could we just deal with the issue at hand? I really don't want to go for any tests. See, tests lead to preventive medicines, vaccines, procedures. You don't want it. My understanding is the healthcare in the United States is as bad now. And it's just a lot more expensive than it is in Israel. For me and my wife, because we're retired, the healthcare costs about $300 a year for both of us. That's it. But who wants to use it? When I used to go to the hospital years ago in my area, what do you see there? Tons of the Arab citizens are there. Loads of them. They believe in the system and they use the system as much as, I think they use the system to bog it down and make the quality of care worse, but they were always going there. Surgeries, treatments, medicine, this, that. They were always going there. I went there years ago and I'm in the waiting room. And I believe it was the Druze family that was there. Their father or grandfather had surgery and he was in pajamas. And, you know, he was able to walk over there and talk to him. And they were handing out pieces of cookies or some kind of gourmet bakery goods. These were Druze, and the guy saw me sitting there, he gave me the box and offered me a cookie. I took one. That's the Druze. It's just, you know, I can't wait for this democracy country to be over and restored to God. It's just a horrible place. 20 years in Netanyahu, this son of a gun really made it worse. And he's proud of it. I don't know what kind of a hot spot he's going to get in the lake of fire, but I imagine it should be pretty hot. He has tormented and punished and hurt and harmed and made miserable more Israelites than any other leader of Israel in history. The worst. Made a big deal the other day. 150 Jews from France came here to make Aliyah. That's a drop in the bucket. So why is Netanyahu waiting for Iran to attack us? Why doesn't he do a preemptive strike? Let's see if he will. Maybe he's got a hidden agenda. Maybe he's afraid of jail from the street criminal cases that are actively in trial but suspended because of the war temporarily. He might figure, let's get the whole government destroyed, then I won't have any criminal cases. I don't know if that's what he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm telling you, when you look at his actions, they're stupid. And that creature's not that stupid. What did we gain by killing the head of Hamas in Tehran? Not a darn thing, other than psychological value. Didn't do any good. If Biden and Netanyahu were thinking of ways to provoke these Muslim terrorist groups, they found the perfect way to do it. And that might be what they want, at the expense of Israel, and then get rid of Iran and her satellites. In other words, clean the house once and for all. That might be their plan. But they're not going to get what they want. It's not going to work for them. But that could be their plan. I don't trust Netanyahu at all. But he's teaching Israel a lesson. And he's not going to let it happen. What they think they're going to get away with, not going to happen. They're going to think everything's fine and they could do it. And I think they'll attack America. And America will probably give it right back to them whole hog, and then we may see the sleeper agents get launched. Let me look at the chat for a minute. Now, Australia. All right, let's go through the rest of Jeremiah 49. Where are we? Here we are. We'll start at the top, okay? It's a very important scripture. See, what we're coming into is Zechariah 12, the siege against Judah and Jerusalem, which is surrounding, getting attacked from all sides. But a siege is different from an invasion. They start an invasion with a siege. In this case, it's never going to come to an invasion. But the siege is already in place. They're just trying to escalate it. Concerning the Ammonites, that's northern Jordan. I'm going to break all these countries and areas down to you so you can see who's involved. Thus saith Jehovah, hath Israel no sons, hath he no heir? Why then doth their king, Jordan, inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Well, David, they had a piece of Jordan, I believe, when King David was king. Because then why are you, the Lord says, why are you taking Israel's land? They don't have an heir to give it to. What are you talking about? We're the heir, Verse 2, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Jehovah, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burned with fire. Then shall Israel be heir to them that were his heirs, saith the Lord. So that's telling us it's going to happen at the year of redemption. We're going to get the land back. Now, I've told you many times that, back last year, 2023, in August, and we tracked down the date, it appears in Israel time, the 10th. He told me that it is the year of recompenses. He did not tell me the day it started. Okay? And in the year of recompenses is the day of vengeance. And the day of vengeance is also in the year of redemption. So the two of them are right back to back, except there's an overlap of one day, the day of vengeance. So the day of vengeance will likely be the last day of the year of recompenses and the first day of the year of redemption. And he told me that on August 10th last year. Now, he did not say when it started, and I do not know if he's using a 365 day calendar year or if he's going by the 360 day Hebrew calendar, which is 12 30-day months. I don't know what he's using. I don't know. The people wouldn't understand the 360-day calendar, and not even the ones with the rabbis, because they got another goofy calendar altogether. So they would only understand the Gregorian calendar. So you might use that. I don't know. Okay, so all I could do is give you a pretty close estimate. But we're supposed to watch. And why the heck would he tell us to watch if we don't know approximately when it's coming? Okay, so Rabbah is mentioned, which is 7233. It's the capital of the Ammonites, but now they call it Ammon. It's the capital of Judah. So it's the not of Judah, the capital of Jordan. Heshbon. Heshbon is a name for an accountant or an accounting bill or something. Like if you want to pay the bill at a restaurant, you might say, Heshbon, Bavakasha, give me the bill. You know, Bavakasha is like please, something like please. So it also, an accountant is called a Heshbon. It's an accounting, an account, you know, you got the idea? Hebrew doesn't go into English that well. Heshbon for AI. And AI in the Old Testament does not apply to artificial intelligence, okay? It's near Jericho, which is West Bank. I is spoiled, that's the West Bank. Cry, you daughters of Rabbah. Gird you with sackcloth. Lament, that means there's a lot of them gotten killed because they're in mourning. Lament and run to and fro by the hedges, for their king shall go into captivity. That means he's going to leave his country, and his priests and his princes together. Jordan, I'm assuming. Whitherfore, you know, it tells us we're going to rebuild the waste places. I think that we're going to rebuild the waste places in the land we're going to inherit in the year of recompenses, which is not what we call Judah and Jerusalem today. It's the other countries, the terrorist countries. Wherefore, glorious thou in the valleys, thy flowing valley, O backsliding daughter, that would be Israel, that trusted in her treasures. Now, what a deception they pulled on us here. The word for treasures does not mean treasures. Strong's number 214. Shitzar. I'm not pronouncing that right. Otsar. It's an armory. Okay. So what he's saying is the treasures of Israel is the military. She's saying that Israel is trusting in her treasures in the military, and that's sadly the case. Trusted in her treasures, who shall come unto me now? Behold, I will bring a fear upon thee, saith Jehovah. It saith Adonai Jehovah. Of armies, Adonai Jehovah of armies, from all those that be about thee, and you shall be driven out every man right, and none shall gather him that wandereth. Oh, this is not talking to Israel, I don't think. I don't think he's talking about Israel. He's probably not speaking about Israel where it says backsliding daughter. Let's get into this a little bit. Shobeb. What the heck is that really meaning? It's a heathen word. It means heathen. And the word for daughter is that really daughter? It is. It's really daughter. Behold, I will bring a fear upon thee, saith Adonai Jehovah of armies, from all those that be about thee, and you shall be driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him. It doesn't sound like this is happening to Israel. No. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon. He's speaking of Jordan, because he's saying afterward he's going to bring them back. So he's speaking about Jordan. Saith Jehovah. Concerning Edom. Now, Edom might be at the bottom of Jordan, the south. It could be in Saudi Arabia up in the northwest. And there's a lot of indications that it's Yemen. You know, you go back in the history books and you get different interpretations. It's very difficult to get to the bottom of this one. So it's either Jordan, Saudi Arabia, or Yemen. Concerning Edom, thus saith Jehovah of armies, is wisdom no more is in Taman. Now, Taman is the word that means south in Hebrew. So that brings us more over to Saudi Arabia, Yemen, than it does Jordan. Jordan would be east. This is south. This is different. I'm at a loss, okay? Is counsel, remember the borders we have today were not the borders of the old days. So. Taman is counsel. Is wisdom no more in Taman? That sounds like Yemen. Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee you, turn back, Dwell deep, O inhabitant of Dedan. Now that's Saudi Arabia area. It's probably in what we call Saudi Arabia today. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him. That's Arabia. The time that I will visit him. Time's up. If grape gatherers come to thee, I mean any day now, if grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes on the edges of the grape vineyard? They'll leave grapes for the poor and stuff. The animals. If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. And he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children See, he's not going to be able to hide himself, not going to be able to go in bomb shelters or caves or, stuff like that. Verse 11 of Jeremiah 49, leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. Could this be lost tribes or something? I don't know, but I just believe it. It'll happen. I don't know the roots and origins of these people, but there you have it. For thus saith Jehovah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assured, not drink of the cup, have assured drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink. Okay, now we're into it's just complicated. For thus saith Jehovah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? See, he's a just God, he punishes Israel, he's definitely punishing them. But thou shalt surely drink. And that's going to give them delusions and everything else. So they're going to act crazy. Hey, let's wipe Israel off the map, blah, blah, blah. Let's get America out of the Persian Gulf. We could take care of them, yeah. For I have sworn by myself, saith Jehovah, that Bozrah shall become a desolation. So now we need to figure out where Bozrah is. Bozrah is the Hebrew. It means, it actually means a sheepfold, but where is it? It's in Edom, which could be Jordan or Saudi Arabia or Yemen, shall become let's take a look and see if we can find Bozrah on some old map or something. I don't know. Let's take a look.
Hi there.
It's not going to be 100% conclusive, but we may get some insights into this. I got a typo. Or they spell check gave me a typo. Yeah, it just did it again. I didn't get a typo. That thing did it. I'm putting E and Z in and it's giving me X's. Southern Jordan, so maybe Jordan is Edom too. Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual waste, or perpetual waste plural. Probably the plural. I have heard a rumor from Jehovah, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen. That is got to be one of the two witnesses, I reckon. Saying, gather you together and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathens, among the goyim, the nations. This is Israel. And despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thy heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldst make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Jehovah. Also Edom, well that's Edom, shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the place thereof. Well, obviously this is unfulfilled. As in the overthrow of Sodom, as far as I know, as in the overthrow of Sodom. And then it says Gomorrah too, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Jehovah. No man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. So this appears to be unfulfilled. I mean, this never happens. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan. The swelling of Jordan is near where the Jordan River, which is, comes from Jordan into the Sea of Galilee, where it meets the Sea of Galilee. It's right near where I live. I gotta drive, 15 minutes or something. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling, but I will suddenly make him run away from her. Her is Israel. And who is the chosen man that I may appoint over her? Now this is, in my opinion, one of the two judges, Apostle John or Elijah, the two witnesses. For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? It could be Yeshua, but he doesn't come down to the earth in these days, so I don't think it's him. Therefore hear the counsel of Jehovah that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman, the south. Is that Edom? Is that Yemen? It's hard to get this down. I think it's Yemen. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. See, that's the 1/3 that don't get killed. 2/3 get cut off, 1/3 don't. Okay. The elect in Israel. And they're the poor, downtrodden, broken up people. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So where the least of the flock shall draw them out, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. All the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. See, that lends itself to Yemen, which is on the Red Sea. I'm trying to show you a map. Let's get a good map, if we could get a good map, which is not easy, from Google. See, there's this tributary kind of break off from the Red Sea by the Sinai Peninsula, and this goes to the right or the east, and it goes into Jordan all the way up. No, this tributary breakaway goes to right up where Jordan meets. So Yemen's like on the Red Sea. Jordan's not really, and it's just a tiny tip of the bottom of Jordan that's on that tributary river, which goes probably 100 miles or at least 4. Let's see if they have a mileage thing here. They do. Okay. So let's get back into this. Make him run away, alright? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Well, that's, if you read Zechariah 4:14, the last verse, Elijah and Apostle John. Therefore, hear the counsel of Jehovah that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely, see, so he's relating Teman, the south, to Edom here. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. See, that's not Israel. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. See, it sounds like Yemen. It doesn't sound like Jordan. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Bozrah, and at that day, it's that day, shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of the heart of the mighty men, that would be like the warriors of Edom, be as the heart of a woman in her pangs, the birth pangs. Concerning Damascus, that's in Syria, Hamat is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. They're, weak in heart. They're scared. There is sorrow of on the sea. It cannot be quiet. So the sea's going nuts with tossing and turnings, I guess. Hang on a second. All right. Concerning Damascus, I'm confounded, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. Probably the Sea of Galilee. It cannot be quiet. Syria could be on the Mediterranean. No, Syria doesn't go. Yeah, Syria's got Mediterranean too. And what does it? You get it on the map. Yeah, Syria's on the Mediterranean, so it could be the Mediterranean. All right. I lost it. Jeremiah 49. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry of the noise inherently heard in the Red Sea. Okay, we did that already. Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee, and fear hath seized her. On her anguish and sorrow have taken her as a woman in travail. How is the city of praise? King David ruled out of Damascus once. Not left, the city of my joy. Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets. That's pretty serious. And all the men of war shall be cut off in that day. See, it's sounding like the day of vengeance. Because that's what happens in the daughter of Babylon too. The words are pretty similar. In that day saith Jehovah of armies, and I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall all the soldiers will be cut off. In that day, saith Jehovah of hosts, and I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus. It shall consume the palaces. Ben-Hadad. That's, Bashar Assad's hangouts and the royal, the big shots in the government and stuff like that. Concerning Kedar, okay. So where is Kedar? Whoops. Kedar. me look it up. It basically is talking about the descendants of Ishmael, but let's see if we could get more definitive. Where is Kedar today? Heard an unusual noise. I don't know what it was. There was no rattling of anything. Hang on a second. Saudi Arabia. So it could very well be that Yemen, the South, and Saudi Arabia are going to get into it, fighting. That will bring the UAE into it also. All right. So Saudi's going to get it from somebody. The outside chance Israel, but probably Yemen and Iran. I don't see America doing this right now. And concerning Kedar and concerning the kingdom of Hazor, which Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, shall smite. Now, Hazor or Hatzor, that's in Israel. Which Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, shall smite. See, this hasn't happened. And he calls the leader of the United States this Nebuchadrezzar. So it's America is going to do this. Now, why? I don't know. Thus saith Jehovah, arise, you go up to Kedar, or Kedar, and spoil them of the east. Their tents and their flocks shall they take away. They shall take to themselves their curtains and all their vessels and their camels and they shall cry unto them, fear is on every side. Flee, get you for. See, they've been an enemy of Israel. Flee, get you far off, dwell deep, O you inhabitants of Hazor, saith Jehovah, for Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, hath taken counsel against you, and hath conceived a purpose against you. Well, they stopped trading oil in dollars and euros very recently. That could do it all by itself, couldn't it? Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation, that'd be Saudi Arabia, that dwelleth without care, Saudi Arabia, saith Jehovah, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. And their camels shall be a booty, and the multitude of their cattle a spoil. And I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, saith Jehovah. Well, they're going to get hit all around. And and Hazor shall be a dwelling for dragons. It's northern Palestine or somewhere. Maybe it's, I don't know where. A desolation, for there shall no man abide there, nor any son of man dwell in it. The word of Jehovah that come to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam. And we covered that this morning, so we got that done. Okay, so this is what I am looking at to see developing in the Middle East, courtesy of Iran and Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas and the Iran-backed militias in Iraq and Syria. So it's not going to look like what the news and the church people are talking about. The year of recompenses is drawing to a close, and Gaza's begun to look like a broken up parking lot. Hezbollah's been busted up some. Yemen's been busted up some. A lot of the leaders of these terrorist groups have been killed. And when we hit the year of redemption, which is going to be in a few days, we're going to start taking the land back. Iran may never get any missiles off at us. We could preemptively strike it. And we could do it with the assistance of America and other allies behind the scenes or openly, I don't know. Just shut them down. America may not, they may be thinking, what the heck, we can't let these idiots launch that many missiles. Then Jordan and UAE and Saudi are going to have to do the takedowns, and then Yemen and Iran are going to counterattack them for doing the takedowns, so we just got to take these idiots out. Thus could arise a joint strike on Iran with the UK, America, Israel, maybe Italy, and other countries. It would be missiles, drones, and air bombing. That would be it. It would be attacks from the air, totally. And in a matter of hours, a substantial force could make Iran's life miserable. So what do? We wait, we watch. You got to remember that Jehovah and Yeshua are perfect, and they will get it done perfectly. Okay? You just got to wait. The wait is growing short. The wait's growing very short. Very, very short. Days. I believe Adam and Eve were in New Jerusalem without all those mansions that Yeshua said he would make for us. Because the tree of life was in Eden. It's Gan Eden in Hebrew, Garden of Eden. And the tree of life is in New Jerusalem. So I think it was they were living in undeveloped New Jerusalem. And then when they got thrown out, they were on earth. I don't think New Jerusalem actually lands on the earth, because it would cover the whole thing up and then all the crops would die. So I think there's a connection to get into it from Mount Sinai, which I believe Jehovah will build again for us. That'll be the highest mountain. And then from there, this will probably be a bridge or something, or a walkway or something to get into New Jerusalem. I don't know exactly yet, but that's what I envision it. Somebody might say, "Oh, he just moved the garden, the tree of life around." I doubt it. I don't think so. So is New Jerusalem still around? No, because it comes down out of heaven. I don't know where it is right now. It might be up in the heaven with Father God Jehovah. It might just be outside our atmosphere. I don't know where. Okay, I guess that's what I wanted to accomplish for today. It's not going to be long. Now, I can't guarantee Iran's not going to get the missile launches off. I don't know. See, the Lord doesn't give me all the little dots and dashes and all the little details. We get the general picture, you know. But we get a pretty good picture. So the day of vengeance could be all this stuff with the nations being destroyed happens in a day, which I suspect is the case. A day. And then everybody's going to know he's Jehovah because he did it in one day. So, please pray for me and my wife Rivka for our peace, safety, protection, and joy. Pray for better videos. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for our animals and pets that are all rescues, that they be happy, healthy, and whole. And I send my Shabbat Shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, because Shabbat's coming. You know, in Israel, even on Thursday, when you see somebody and they leave you, they don't live with you, like come to your house for some reason, or you go to theirs and you're leaving on Thursday, they'll say Shabbat Shalom to you, knowing Friday night that Shabbat starts, and they do that. So in Israel, you may see that and it may get you confused. Why are they celebrating Shabbat on Thursday? No, they don't plan on seeing you before the Shabbat starts on Friday evening. So they come out and wish you a good Shabbat on Thursday. So it may confuse some of you when you're in Israel, but now you know the answer to that. I normally don't do it unless the other person does it first, and to be polite, I retort the same way. But I it's a little confusing. I don't really do it unless it's somebody starts it and initiates it before me, generally. They're changing the way meat is being sold in the supermarkets here. For whatever that's going to be worth in a few days. But it used to be you'd go to the butcher's, they had a meat counter and they had maybe 5 or 6 characters working there. People, men, women, they would cut the meat up as you asked them to. Now they just have it, for the most part, in, like a meat tray out of some sort of styrofoam or something covered by a clear plastic. And it has the weight and the price and what kind of meat it is, and you could see the meat clearly. And that's working out better in our favor, because my wife went and bought some meat yesterday, and she just shuffled through the packages of meat until you find one that looks good that you want. So she had a Delmonico yesterday, which often is a lousy cut in Israel, but she got it from the non-kosher supermarket. So we didn't have the rabbis salting it and washing it and salting it and rooting the meat. It ruins the meat, it toughens it, takes the taste out, makes the meat crappy, and there's nothing to do in the Bible with that. That's the salt covenant for the food that's going to be sacrificed, that's going to be burned on the altar. It's just ridiculous to do it for everybody's food they eat in the house. It's wrong. God never told us to do it for that. It's only for his meat that's going on the altar. So it's wrong for them to do that, but they do it. No fear of the Lord. So it ruins the meat, and I think it probably gives a lot of people in Israel high blood pressure over the years. I eat pretzels a lot. You've seen them, but they're not like real pretzels or bagel-looking things, They're bagel-like objects. They're not bagels. They look like a bagel, but they can't. Yeah, you can get real bagels in Israel, and very rare to find it, but there's a guy in the Golan Heights that has real bagels, like New York bagels, and you get it in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv rather easily, but where I am, no. So they got bagel-like objects, and they put sesame seeds on it. Now, I'm not really an enemy of sesame seeds, but you get a good bagel in New York, you could have it with salt, you could have it with garlic, you could have it with onions, you could have a water bagel, you could have an egg bagel. And then my favorite was the bagels with everything. So they had poppy seeds, onion, garlic, salt, sometimes sesame, but I'd never get that. They don't put sesame seeds on the bagels. Why are they doing it in Israel? Because there's so many people with high blood pressure from eating the salted meat. They double salt it, that they don't want to eat any more salt, so they don't have the salt on the bagels. And they sell pretzels, which is a pretzel-shaped thing, like the 3-ring sign, and they put sesame seeds on that. It's retarded. They're supposed to have salt. But the people here had their health ruined by the rabbi phony practice, that their health is, high blood pressure land, and they don't want to eat any more salt. It's the theater of the absurd. So we got this Delmonico, and she cooked it. It was pretty good, except it had a lot of grizzly fat that you couldn't chew. The kind of thick cartilagey fat, and you could chew it for 5 minutes and still wouldn't dissolve it or break it up, you know. So that goes to the dogs. They have no trouble. They just, you know, they love it. And she has some other cuts of meat too that she got. So that's actually a breakthrough. Because see, in Israel, if they detect your accent is not like that of somebody born in Israel, they take advantage of you. That's one of the reasons why the 2/3 are going to get cut off. And our Hebrew certainly doesn't sound like, you know, somebody who was born here. It sounds more like, hello, my name Jose Jimenez. You know, that's what we sound like to them. You know? I'm hearing stuff. I don't know what I'm hearing. Could be construction. I'll have to look later. I don't think it's any bombs or rockets or missiles. I don't think so. So, yeah, now we got a better way of getting good meat, but I mean, we're at the end of the line. We'll have real meat. They're not going to be doing that when we get into redemption. Believe me, we're not going to be playing rabbi games. Anybody that's, you know, is going to try to follow the Talmud is going to be severely corrected. And if, you know, we're not putting up with that. That ain't going to happen. The Talmud is like, you know, as silly as the Tibetan Book of the Dead or something like that. You don't follow that. Nor the Kabbalah. So, that'll go out the window. The kosher certificates will go out the window. Gone, you know. The bank's gotta go. Because it's against the law to charge usury to your fellow Israelites, and the banks will collapse. The bank's gotta be gone. The paper money gotta be gone. The stock markets will be gone. The bond markets, the commodities, the futures, the NASDAQ, all this stuff has got days left. It'll be gone. The money will be gold and silver. We'll have a lot of it too. A lot of wealth. And there's gonna be good food here, you know, real good food. I think the houses will be left intact here for those that shall come or move into them. You know, the bad ones appear to get cut off. See, in Malachi 3, where we see Elijah training the Levites to make the offerings successful, I think that happens after the two witnesses burn them up in Zechariah 12 on the right hand and the left, surrounding Israel. Otherwise, we would have seen it happen already. There's no temple, there's no tabernacle, and there's nobody working openly training any Levites. So, openly, I did say openly, didn't I? Did I say openly? I said openly. So, and it happens in Jerusalem, apparently. So, there's nothing going on like that. So, it happens after the enemies are destroyed. And I assume there's going to have to be a lot of structures taken down. You know, shrines and temples to other religions will have to be down, churchianity included. That'll be the Christian churches, the Catholic, the Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, the Baha'i temple in Haifa, mosques, minarets, Dome of the Rock, what's about it? This democratic government of Israel will be gone, never to return. That's never anything I hope it does. All Satan has to do in a democracy is get the ungodly to outvote the godly, and then you ruin the place, and you ruin the godly. Won't happen. When he ruled Israel with judges, things generally, not all the time, but generally went pretty good. Uh, the healthcare system isn't going to be around. We don't need it. Many things are going to be different. Are we going to have electricity? I don't know. Are we going to have vehicles and cars? And I think so. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't have all the little details, and it's very hard to pull it out of scripture. And in a lot of cases, you're just not going to be able to pull it out. You're just not going to get it. So there's a lot of things that I don't know how to answer. It appears that we won't be wearing strange clothing. We'll be dressing like they did at the time of Yeshua, let's say, with, robes and tunic type clothing that'll come down low below the knees, I assume. The ankles will stick out on the women because they put ankle bracelet kind of things on the ankles with little noise making things, bells maybe. Jewelry is going to be big. Incense, perfumes, cosmetics will be oil and salve to keep the skin from drying out in the sun and keep it fresh looking and moist. The standard stuff. I don't know what we'll have for soap. Probably basic soaps, I guess, but they'll probably be scented, I guess. I'm guessing. I mean, when you think about it, God could get our electricity to keep running, and there's no electric bill to pay. So who are you going to pay it to? Yourselves, So that could be happening. I don't know. I don't know all of this stuff. If we're going to move into the houses where the people are dead, does that mean we're going to have to evacuate the deceased corpses? I don't think so. I don't know for sure. I don't know. See, these are the things I ask myself, and I don't know. And I can't pull it out of the scriptures. Or are we going to be riding horses and camels, or are we going to be doing both? I don't know. Oh, you're definitely going to be using the animals again, the donkeys, the mule, and which is the jackass, we call them, and the horses and camels. I don't see anything about us riding elephants. I did go as a kid to the Bronx Zoo, and they had camel rides and they had elephant rides. I was a small kid, like 4 or 5 years old, or even 6 or 7, and you'd walk up on a platform, and the guy would help you get up in a saddle on the elephant or the camel, and they'd belt you, and then he'd walk you around an oval path with a fence around it that was probably 300-400 yards, and then you got off on the platform, and that was that. But it was pretty cool. You're up high with these animals, that's the thing. Horses can be up high, camels are really up there, and elephants way up there. But I don't see us doing much with elephants in Israel. I'm not seeing that. The cows, of course, and we'll have chicken and turkey and quail and duck and goose, and I don't know what else. That's probably going to cover the gambit on the birds. Turkey. I think I said turkey. Oaf is chicken. It means flyer. Turkey is hodu. I don't remember what darkened quail is. Um, we've got the full gamut of vegetables and fruits. You know, tons of them here, all different kinds. Corn, grain, all of that stuff. You know. If the irrigation system is out, then the crops would not work out unless you hope to change the weather. I can pretty much tell you that. I think it wouldn't work out very well. But, you know, he'll change things for us. So if we're not going to have, you know, gas-powered vehicles, what happens to all these vehicles laying around Israel? See, these are the questions I ask myself. The buses, the trucks, what happens to them? When it all stops, will they be on the highways and the things just like dead and dormant in the highways? I ask myself these things, you know. I can't get it all done, you know, to try to get God to give you every little tiny point and detail is you no longer want to walk by faith that He's perfect and Yeshua is perfect and everything they do is going to work out perfect, which it will. So we got to be like little children and come to our Father and just let Him work it out. Little children don't need all the details. Oh, don't worry, son, it'll work out, it'll be fine. Okay, then, you know. You know, that's kind of where it's at, you know. What about the water? Are we still going to have the... Yeah, I don't know. And it's kind of nice to just kick back and wait for it to happen. And it'll probably take us a little time to figure out what's left over from the old age and what's new, and, you know, that kind of thing, you know. People don't understand that their money supplies, the stock markets, commodities, bonds, it's all going to dry up. It's going to be gone. Jeremiah 30, verse 11, says He's going to destroy all the nations that He scattered the Israelites into, and that's got to be over 100 nations. So, currency isn't going to be happening. People are going to be very interested in precious stones and precious metals, but the precious metals, the palladium and the platinum, I don't see much going on with that. And I don't see much going on with diamonds. It's in there, but the beautiful emeralds, the rubies, the emeralds are green, the rubies are a deep red, the sapphires are a wonderful blue, and the ones that come yellow and, you know, pink and things like that, that's what's going to be popular. You know, you could go to eBay and buy synthetic diamonds that are lab grown now, that a diamond tester will test as a diamond. It has the same hardness as a diamond. And they'll give you a 2-carat diamond polished and cut for about $70 US. Instead, what would it... Now, this is going to be I think it's a D diamond VVS1, which a 2-carat, I don't know what it would cost you in a store. I would say $7,000 to $12,000 at least. And they're under $170. Diamonds are gone. Okay. Now the makers generally laser etch in the diamond in microprint, maybe like 1 point type, or actually it's probably a tenth of 1 point. You need a microscope to read it, that this is a lab-grown diamond. Now you can buy the machine to make these things for $10,000 to $50,000. They take weeks to make, and the raw materials don't cost very much. But why bother when you can buy all you want out of China? Now, there's two types of making these lab-grown diamonds. One's a little clearer and better than the other, but they're both actually real diamonds. And they tell the people that you can test for them, but I don't believe it. I think that's the diamond industry lying. And if you buy the machine that makes them for $10,000 to $50,000, it'll only make up to a 1 carat stone. I don't know how many it make. You probably make 20 or 30 of them in a month or something like that, or whatever it takes, 6 weeks. Um, but if you want to make it now, if you want to get up to a 4 carat diamond, like a round, brilliant cut, polished and cut up and everything like, but not mounted, they may charge you $400 or something. What would that cost if you went to a jar? I don't know, $25,000. You know, it's the industry is finished. So you could buy a machine, make your own 1 carat diamonds, go to yonder jeweler and say, you go to the jewelry store, you pick out a book of rings, right? You say, 14 karat, give me one of these, one of these, one of that, and have them set you 10 stones or 20 stones, right? And it is a diamond. It's not a lie to say it's a diamond. If somebody tells you, is this a lab-grown diamond or a natural diamond, and you lied about it, then you're lying. But to call it a diamond is perfectly legitimate. You could sell the things for, $500-$600. So the jewelers are the biggest crooks west of the Mississippi. And they are trying to sell lab-grown diamonds for, $10,000-$15,000 with a gold ring or a bracelet in it or something like that. And they're just trying to mark it up excessively. That's what they do. But their whole thing with the diamonds is finished. Most people are not aware of it. This has been going on with the lab-grown diamonds for a few years now. But it just recently came to my attention that you could just buy the machines. You'd have to go rent yourself like an industrial park office, and you would have to have the place secured and put sprinklers in and precautions. And you could buy some of these machines and just churn out diamonds. If you want to get a diamond that's going to be bigger than 1 carat, like 2 or 3 carats, you might have to spend, from 50 to 100,000 for the machine. But most people don't want to buy more than a 2 carat diamond because it's just too much. And if you're buying a lab grown, it would look, that you're just not going to fit in with it. It's not like you're a member of the Senate or you own a bank or something like that. And I would say 2 carats is where it stops. Years and years ago, when I was in the world, I played a game. I was taking a lot of cruises, and I wanted to, just have some fun with the people on the cruises. So I bought a ring, a very heavy, big gold ring, and I bought a moissanite, which is an artificial diamond, but you can put them in a tester and tell it's a moissanite. But if you look at it with a loupe, or probably even a microscope, all you're going to see is a perfect diamond. And they're brighter than these lab-grown diamonds, but they don't have exactly the same hardness scale. It's slightly less, but still plenty hard. It's maybe 5% less or 10%, but it's still extremely hard. So I bought a 4 carat. I think the stone was $1,600, and I put it in the ring. Back then, gold was about $250, $220 an ounce. So the ring didn't cost so much, a few $100s. So I was in it, I think, $2,400 with the jeweler's fees. And so I was taking it on cruises and having fun. I'd put it on and go to the dinner, and they'd see this big thing. And it was no CZ. You could tell that this thing was a diamond, the way it threw the light. I mean, this sucker was a diamond, I sold it on eBay. I got a good buck for it. Before I left America, I sold it. But I had a lot of laughs with that thing, you know, because a 4 carat diamond in that quality, would be probably, in a jewelry store, $60,000, $100,000 or even more. More, it could be a $250,000, $500,000. It'd be amazingly expensive for that quality. It'd be way up there. The women, what is this guy? You know, I had a lot of fun with that thing. So they didn't have the lab-grown diamonds then. They had the moissanite, which was pretty darn good, and you were able to get the moissanite with some color in it. They had one that was a very nice green, and that, if you want to get a diamond, a real diamond, they can put the color in it artificially for you. But if you wanted to get a natural diamond that came with the color out of the ground, it's tremendously expensive. The rarest diamonds to get natural today are red. And a nice size 1.5 carat red diamond, a good high quality one, is over $1 million. You could get a synthetic one, it wouldn't cost so much. I don't know, maybe you'd have to, I don't know, I imagine if you looked enough, you'd get it for under $1,000, and then have it set in a ring or something. You can buy black diamonds, which are real diamonds, and they're actually not lab grown, they're natural diamonds for dirt cheap, if you like a black diamond. So you could use it to take the place of black jade or onyx, and it would be way the heck more durable, if you wanted it to. But nobody wants them. You can barely give a black diamond away, But the whole diamond thing is going to shift. This is something that the Beers people did, and they just ran the price of diamonds up. It was just an excellent exercise in marketing. And I mean, if we weren't coming to the end of the age, you could, if you were a dishonest person, buy yourself a 1 carat, a machine, maybe for as little as $10,000 or $20,000, that makes 1 carat diamonds, and buy, it wouldn't take a lot of money to start with one, make several stones, and then go around and buy rings for it, or necklaces for it, or bracelets, or charms, or whatever, and have somebody mount it in that, and then just go sell them, however you want to sell them on eBay or whatever, and call it a diamond. You walk into a jewelry store with that and say, hey, can I pay you to tell me if this is a real diamond or not? Most of them will say, it's okay, let me have a look at it. He'll put it in the loop and say, yeah, it looks like a real diamond, but then he's going to say, gee, it's such a high-grade diamond, where'd you get it, what's the story? See, now he's trying to buy the story, not the diamond. So if you said, oh, it was my grandmother's, she owned a ranch with 75,000 acres and had a lot of money, and then he's going to say, oh, it's probably real. You see, he's buying the story, not the stone. Now, if you put it in a microscope, which few jewelers have, but they do have it, it'd be the same thing. It's coming back a real diamond. I had a guy once see my diamond ring. I was at a business meeting with a guy, you'd say. And he said, could I see that? And I took it off and handed it to him, and the guy carried a loop around with him. I didn't even know he was a jeweler, and he looked at it and said, this is a perfect diamond. See, they can't tell. And that was a moissanite. These lab-grown diamonds are the same thing. They are the same as a diamond in the testing. So, if this gets out enough and people figure out, you can go out and, let's say you want to get yourself the 2 carat stones and you spend $50,000 or something on the machine. You can make a bunch of them, and you can make yourself tennis bracelets. You can make a tennis bracelet and put 1 carat stones in it. Something like that costs a fortune. You know, you go to the jewelry store, oh, that's $120,000 or something. You can make it for a pittance. You know, make yourself lockets. You can make it. I mean, this is really women's jewelry. Make yourself rings, earrings. You can make these things women wear around their neck that have a lot of diamonds in them. You can put diamonds in there. There's all kinds of things you could do with this, you know. And you're not laser etching the thing. Or you could just go buy a bunch of these things from the guys in China. If you communicate with AliExpress, you go to them on AliExpress and you write them and you say, you know, hey, I'd like to get, you know, a 2-carat stone and this quality and, you know, this size, and could you make it red or blue or whatever, you know, yeah, you know, and what would it cost? And they're going to come back competitive because they know you're going to write, you know, letters to more than one guy. You know, so you might have to pay $200-300 for something like this instead of, you know, 15,000 or 12,000. You know, it's a joke. And it's a diamond. What do you need the natural grown for? You see, the whole diamond thing is gone. Now they say that you can do the same thing with lab-grown emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. I do not think so. I think that when they take the loupe and look in the emerald, sapphire, or ruby, they can tell, or the microscope. So if someone goes into the store with this ring or whatever it is, and they go to the jeweler, look at the stone, and they say, well, I bought it from a guy, or I won it in a card game or something like that, you know, some questionable thing. The jeweler's not going to have sophisticated testing equipment. If you could even test for it, I don't really think you can. The weight is the same, the light refraction it's all the same. The moissanite has a different weight, so they were able to sell moissanite detectors, you know. So all the jewelers had to buy one of these things to protect themselves from moissanite. But these lab-grown diamonds, maybe you'd have to send it out to a lab for analysis. And what are they going to charge you? They're not going to do it for $25. They're going to want what? $300, $200, $500. You know, they got to write you a report, and they might want $1,000. So how many people are going to go out and have the thing tested? You know, if someone sold you a ring for $700-800, you're going to spend $200 or $300 to have it tested. It's ridiculous. People look at it with the loupe. Oh yeah, this is a good diamond. You know. So why even bother with the machines? Just go to the AliExpress and you can buy all the diamonds you want. I'll bet you get a 4-carat diamond for most of, I'd say way under $1,000, $500-600. A 4-carat diamond is what you're going to see the Kennedys wear, or a Rockefeller wear, or something like that. It's in that genre, okay? 2-carat is about it for max, maybe 2.5, you know. That's about it for anything, you know, sane, you know. So it's kind of funny, you know. So they might start, well, they don't have enough time prophetically, but they might start mimicking, you know, natural grown sapphires, emeralds, rubies, and other precious, they call them semi-precious stones, but they're pretty expensive. They may do something like that, but they've been doing that for many, many years. So you can buy, you know, like a 2-carat ruby or an emerald or something, lab grown, you know, without flaws. I don't know, maybe, you know, $200 or $500 or something like that. You know, it's not going to be like the real thing is going to cost you, you know, $30,000 or something, $50,000. You know, not going to. So they can tell the difference, but the whole diamond industry is finished. And I saw a guy interviewing a jeweler about this, a guy that actually publishes a very big jeweler publication. And he's saying, oh, there's no resale value in these things. Bull crap. I sold my moissanite on eBay and I did pretty good with it. There is a resale value for these things, and you're paying so little for them. And they're quoting what people are paying for these things. See, if you go walk into a jewelry store, they're the biggest thieves west of the Mississippi, as they say. You walk in there and buy a lab-grown diamond from them, they'll show you a stone for, $4,000, and they'll tell you it costs you $20,000 to get the real thing. But if you go to AliExpress, you probably get it for, $200. Without the ring in it, it's a joke. These jewelers are comical. It's a shame there's not enough time prophetically to see them go bust, taking advantage of people. And that's why the resale value, you buy these diamonds and you go to sell them back to the jewelry store, they don't even want to buy them. They don't even want them. They buy them for so much less money than they sell it to you. They don't want it, They don't even, they'll offer you nothing. You buy, somebody buys an engagement ring for $1,600, okay? And then they go, let's say they want to sell it, they broke up or something, they go to sell it, the guy will give you $100 for it, if you're lucky. And it'll probably sell the gold as scrap, and I don't know what it'll do with the stone. But the only kind of investment in these diamonds is if you have a rare colored diamond in a great shape and a big size. It has to be large. Those things are very valuable. And there are a certain amount of people running around that are only going to want to buy a natural diamond. So the jeweler is saying, well, the reason that there's always going to be a market for natural diamonds is because it's you buy an engagement ring or a tennis bracelet or something like that. You want the woman to know that you love her, you care, and you're investing a lot of money in the relationship. That's not the way it works. The way it works is, I'm not going to buy a natural diamond. It's a waste of money. It's idiotic. The lab-grown diamonds look exactly the same. Okay? And they're just as good. They got the same hardness on, the Rohr scale, ROHR, I think it is. And they're diamonds. They're grown under pressure and stuff like that in a machine instead of naturally out of the. It's stupid to buy a real diamond. You can't tell the difference. It's moronic. Take the money and take a trip. Take a vacation with the money instead of doing that, So I'm really glad to see this thing, sink for them. Oh, and they're such crooks with jade. They rip people off. If they sell you something for $10,000, they probably paid maybe $1,500, $2,500 for it, $3,000 maybe. They're that bad, yeah. And they have a closed shop where you're not going to go buy the jade or the diamond or ruby unless you are known in the trade. They're not going to give you a trade price. So it's a big, big scam. But now they've ruined it. And you go look at AliExpress, you can buy a 1 carat, flawless, perfect D, VVS1 diamond for $70. It's a joke. They've ruined them. Okay, so I thought you'd appreciate hearing that story. It's kind of fun, I guess. So anyway, I send my Shabbat Shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, and I'm out. Thanks.